Brilliant. So you're all with me and we're all standing to begin. Wonderful. So just kind of find a space on your mat. It doesn't matter how you choose to stand at the beginning. We're not coming into a formal
I
mountain pose.
already want
Oh, I've just realised I haven't muted you all. That would be a good idea.
to.
Now you're all muted. You can continue your little off-camera conversations. Wonderful. So come to hip width distance apart or a little bit wider if that's right for you. And we're just going to take a few moments to find the connection through the feet. So generally, as soon as we stand in the space, we kind of roll into our usual posture, which for me means kind of hanging around on the outside edge of the feet. For you, it might mean leaning forward or leaning back. So just give yourself a couple of actions rolling forward and back through the feet, lifting the heels, lifting the toes, and really opening out through the arches, through the soles of the feet. As you rock forward, we're going to pause for a moment as you really feel the big toe mounds and the joint underneath the little toe really connect into the floor. Spread the toes like fingers. Then lift the toes from the mat and then individually replace the toes one at a time onto the mat. Do that action again, lift the toes, spread, then replace the toes one at a time just to feel that connection through the soles of the feet. We do that to kind of feel how the different muscles in the legs start to switch on when we're properly connected through the feet. So you might notice the backs of the knees have become a little bit more alert. Certainly for me, the inner thighs switch on. Be mindful that you're not locking the knees out, so don't push the knees back. Keep the knees nice and soft. And think about that pelvic bowl position. We don't want the hips pressing forward or rolling back. We want to find that nice bowl position where if you were to imagine you had liquid between the hips, you would be perfectly level and stable. Gently drawing the weight of the tailbone down to the floor, lifting the top of the head towards the ceiling. So we're just encouraging a little length through the spine, lifting the weight of the rib cage off the belly. And then if you're happy and feel in good balance here, take a moment to close the eyes. If closing the eyes causes you to lean forward or you feel that you're swaying excessively, then it's okay to open the eyes and just focus softly on the floor in front of you. I just want you to take a moment to feel that straight line from the back of the head to the back of the heels. Gently draw your focus through the full length of the body, from the top of the head. Work your way down through the back of the neck, middle of the shoulders, the length of the spine. Just spend a moment here focusing on drawing the tummy button in, engaging the core. Then continue that focus down through the fronts of the thighs, through the backs of the calves. And again, that real connection through the soles of the feet. So actually, just by practicing this standing posture, you might feel as though you're almost sinking into the floor beneath you. That's good, that's us grounding. Gently releasing tension and allowing any tension of the day to melt into the floor beneath you. Take a deep breath in through the nose. As you exhale, feel that tension dissipate. Deep breath in through the nose. A noisier breath through the mouth. Another deep breath in through the nose. Releasing this time with an audible sigh. Feeling again the back of the head lining up with the back of the heels. returning your breath to a natural, easy rhythm. Underside of the chin parallel to the floor as you blink the eyes open. Let's take a moment to wiggle the fingers, to draw little circles with the wrists. I'm going to draw those circles in towards the body, then take them away from the midline of the body. Let the wrists, the hands soften again. Inhale to squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, a big shrug, let them go. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders up. Another big shrug, let them go. Little more control now as you ease the shoulders up towards the ears, then roll the shoulders back and down. There might be a little bit of creaking happening here, so let's do that 2 or 3 times just to work through that full range of movement. I can really feel it through the back of my neck tonight for whatever reason. Drawing the shoulders back and down, shoulder blades drawn together. So we're exaggerating this opening through the chest as we turn the palms towards the front of the room. Keep the knees nice and soft. Inhale to lift the arms up to shoulder height. Press through the fingertips. So where we've exaggerated that opening through the collarbones and the chest, let's now bring the fingertips in towards the palms to make fists. Thumbs up towards the ceiling. Inhale to widen again through the chest. Exhale to draw the tummy button in. It feels like we're recreating a scene from the Vitruvian Man. That very famous, I think it's like an architectural drawing. Let's just keep that warmth happening through the upper arms, into the shoulders. Keep pressing those fists a little further away from the midline of the body. So again, we're really challenging the core, opening through the heart space. Then open the fingers wide again. Let's wiggle the fingers. Then inhale to lift the arms up overhead. We're going to make a Y shape. I'm going to step back so that my hands don't go off the screen. Pressing through the fingertips. So the intention here is to lift the rib cage, but not to lift the shoulders. Again, we're grounding down through the soles of the feet. So we get extra length in through the waist, in through the side of the rib cage. Then take the right hand to take hold of the left wrist. Step the left foot behind the right foot. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to ease over. Inhale to draw that top arm a little deeper. Exhale to squeeze a little more into the waist, into the side of the rib cage. Inhale to lift again, coming back to center. Let your arms come down by your side, reset your feet. Let's take the opposite foot behind. Inhale, lift up. So this time, left hand to right wrist. A moment to lengthen, soften the shoulders. Exhale to ease over. Inhale to pull that length a little deeper. Exhale to see if we can find a little extra ½ inch here. Then inhale again, come back to center. Step that foot behind once more. Feel equally weighted through the feet. Let the arms release down by your side. Coming back into swinging the weight forward and back. So lifting the heels, lifting the fronts of the feet. Now bending the knees and bringing the arms in on the action. So the arms go back and then lift up. So they're back as we lift the heels, they're up as we lift the toes. It doesn't matter if you've done the opposite, 'cause sometimes that's a lot to think about. Now let's just get a little bit wilder with this. So lifting the arms overhead, really bending through the knees. You can stop moving through the feet just to keep your balance here. Inhale to lift the arms up, sweep the arms down on the exhale. One more. Hang it down. Knees are bent. Let the knuckles drape towards the floor. Tuck the chin under. Just hold it here. Little bit of creaking going on in the upper back. Rest your upper body weight into the backs of the hands, elbows soft. Then bring your gaze a little further forward of the hands and start tapping tops of the feet, fronts of the shins, back of the calves, over the knees, into the inner thighs, over the fronts, the backs of the thighs. A little bit of extra time on the buttocks. Got a little bit more to break up there. Over the belly. Might be gentle over the belly. Come a little bit higher over the chest. And then I just want you to change this action into a more gentle tapping, index finger, middle finger, over the collarbones. So less slapping, more tapping. Then straighten your right arm, take your left hand down the right arm, sweep it away. You're pushing away any bad energy. Beautiful. Switch over to the other side. Think of this as a nice aura cleanse tonight. Shrugging off any dirty stuff that's stuck to you that belongs to someone else and not you. Beautiful. Shake the arms out. Keep those knees soft. Shake the arms up towards the shoulders. Shake the arms up overhead. Beautiful. Bring the arms all the way overhead. Bring right arm forward, left arm back, making big circles with the arms. Avoiding doing the backstroke. Then change direction. Left arm forward, right arm back. Notice that the shoulders and the hips remain square. So we don't need to be moving the upper body. Everything else feels anchored and grounded. Lifting both arms up overhead. Exhale, bend the knees, big sweeping out again. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. One more time. Come back again to standing. Take the feet a little wider. Keep those knees nice and soft. And now we're just going to gently twist through the body. So I'll just put a cautionary note in. Whenever we twist, we don't want to twist through the lower back. So think about lifting the rib cage. And we'll start with almost like we're lifting and rotating the rib cage to one side, then to the other. So we're nice and slow to begin with. It helps to bring opposite hand to opposite hip. It gives you a target. And then as you start to feel more comfortable, you can soften a little more into the knees. You can let the arms travel a little wider until you reach the point where the hands are reaching opposite shoulder rather than opposite hip. Lovely. Then slow it back down again, working towards opposite hand to opposite hip. Then bring those movements in, less exaggerated, nice and soft. Coming back again to center. Now let's bring the feet towards one another, creating a more traditional mountain pose. So inside of the feet parallel, spread again through the toes, finding again that straight line from the back of the head to the heels, turning the palms to the front of the room. And again, I'll just invite you to close the eyes for a moment to tune into your breath. So doing that kind of forced breathing, all that twisting and moving around, you might find your breaths become a little more rapid. So let's just slow the breath again, coming all the way to the end of the inhalation, filling the lungs completely. All the way to the end of the exhalation, emptying the lungs fully. Inhale to widen and expand. Exhale to release, let go. Now blink the eyes open once more. Keep the underside of the chin parallel to the floor. Take your gaze over the right shoulder, keeping the chin parallel with the floor. So don't worry if you feel there's a little bit of tightness in the neck. Just notice it without judgment. Lower the chin towards the shoulder. Trace the line of the collarbone from the right shoulder all the way to the left. And again, underside of the chin parallel to the floor, as if you're looking over that left shoulder. Once more, lower the chin towards the shoulder. Trace the line, pausing here in center, allowing the weight of the head to lengthen the back of the neck to create a little more space between the shoulder blades. Mindfully inhale to widen through the chest, exhale to draw the tummy button in, then inhale to lift your gaze, realigning the back of the head with the back of the heels. Now this feels weird, but go with me. So I want you to now bring your tongue to the front of your teeth, and with your lips closed, draw circles with your tongue so it's in front of your teeth. I'm going to do 4 in one direction. Can't really speak when I'm doing it. Then reverse and do 4 in the opposite direction. And now we're just going to check the neck mobility. So once more, just take your gaze over the right shoulder. No creaking, much easier. Bring the head back to center. Take the head over the other shoulder. Come back again to center. Squeeze the right shoulder up towards the ear. Careful to not draw the ear down to the shoulder. Exhale, roll that shoulder back and down. Inhale, bring the left shoulder up. Exhale, roll that shoulder back and down. Inhale, both shoulders up. Exhale, roll down, opening through the heart space. I'm going to turn side on so you can see the shape. We're bringing the hands together in an interlock here at the lower back. So there's a tendency here, if you remember, to swing the hips forward to create space. Let's try to avoid that by pressing the thighs back, tucking the tailbone under, feeling the core engage. Try not to lift the shoulders as you slide the arms away from the lower back. And just encourage a little more room through the pectoral muscles, maybe over the trapezius, maybe into the muscles at the top of the shoulders. Then release, soften, let go. Reposition the hands onto the hips. Make sure the knees remain soft rather than locked. As you exhale, hinge forward, 90-degree angle. So we're not overdoing this. Depending on where you feel tight, you might feel this in the back of the thighs, you might feel it into the calf muscles. Let's, rather than coming any deeper into this fold, focus on pressing the sit bones towards the back of the room, gently lifting the tailbone, sliding the sternum forward, but keeping the forehead parallel to the floor. So this is just giving us a little bit more of an intense stretch through the back of the legs. Extend the right arm forward, feel the upper arm to the side of the right ear. Press through the fingertips, push the sit bones back. Just fine tuning that stretch. Bring that right arm back in, hand to hip. Exhale, extend the left arm forward. Inhale to reach with the fingers, push the sit bones back. Exhale to engage the core. Inhale to just tease a little more length into the spine. Exhale to bring the hand back towards the hip. On the next inhalation, extend both arms forward. Press through the fingertips, push the sit bones to the back of the room. You can try again to gently lift the tailbone. It's probably more intense now. It's probably getting quite warm in this posture. As you exhale, engage the core. Bring the hands back again towards the hips. Inhale, extend the sternum forward. As you exhale, wrap the hands around the elbows. Inhale to widen through the collarbones. Exhale, create space as you hinge forward, bringing the belly to rest on the thighs. Widen through the chest.
On the next out breath, tuck the chin under. Let the forearms hold parallel to the floor, top of the head hanging loose, just in a ragdoll posture. You might like to just gently again twist from the waist. So remember, this is isolating the rib cage, creating space at the side of the waist. Every out breath perhaps coming a little deeper into that fold. Returning to center. Replacing the hands onto the thighs now, bringing your gaze ahead of the toes, shoulder blades drawn together. Your choice whether you straighten the legs or whether you keep a little bend in the knees. Inhale to push down into the thighs. Inhale to lift, lift, lift. Exhale to roll the shoulders back and down. On the next inhalation, lift the arms up overhead once more. We're going to bring the hands together into an interlock again. So create that interlock. I'm bending my elbows because my hands will go off the screen. So for now, the palms of the hands are above the head. I want you to turn the hands inside out, then inhale to lengthen. See if we can just iron out the elbows, create as much space as we can through the upper arms into the shoulders. And again, turning side on, avoid leaning back. Try to keep pressing back the thighs, tucking the tailbone under, opening through the chest. Exhale, ease to the right side, tucking the chin into the left armpit, pressing through the palms of the hands. Inhale to lift, back to center. Exhale, ease to the left side. Again, turning to tuck the chin, this time into the right armpit. Then inhale, lift, come back to center. As you exhale, keep the core engagement to float the hands back again to chest level. Turn the hands in towards the heart. Then take the hands away, soften them down by your side. Super. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders up. As you exhale, big shrug, let it go. So we're staying in our mountain posture. We're keeping that connection through the soles of the feet. Simple action now, just lift the right arm up. We're going to take the left hand, hug it under the right arm. We want to try and aim for the part just above the elbow joint. And we're just using a little bit of pressure to draw that top arm in, keeping the shoulders and hips facing forward. Then turning the gaze over the right shoulder, bringing the gaze back to center. Turning the gaze over the left shoulder. Bring the gaze back to center. Make a fist with the right hand, or both hands actually, because I can't tell which one you've got. Then as you exhale, release. Opposite arm in front, opposite arm lifting. So for now, the fingers are soft, the wrists are soft. We'll take the head over the left shoulder to begin. Back to center, over the right shoulder, back to center. A moment again of just creating fists, a little bit of tension. Then as you exhale, release, let that go. Let's bring the arms together. This time, we're going to position the right elbow right in front of the sternum. So we don't want this arm too low. We want it just in height with your breastbone. Opposite arm comes under. And we'll start initially by placing backs of the hands back to back towards one another. And then we'll just play around with our mobility in the upper body, perhaps bringing palm to palm. Keep drawing the elbows down so there's no pressure in the shoulders. We're either hands back to back or hands palm to palm, whatever you can achieve. If to achieve palm to palm you end up pulling that top hand back, just come back to the back version. We don't want to put undue pressure anywhere else. Then release, let that go. Remember the arm you just used. Left arm coming in now, right arm coming under. So again, start back to back, or if you prefer, palm to palm. Just find your comfort level here. There's a little bit of challenge to be had by drawing the elbows down. So that just creates a little more release through the shoulders. And sometimes you find that one side is very comfortable, the opposite side is really not pleasant. Then when you're ready, release and let that go. Remember that, because we will be coming back to it. So that's the upper part of our the posture we're going to be doing sorted. Let's figure out what we're going to do with the legs. So we'll practice a little bit of balance to begin with. Simply for now, because we're really grounded through the soles of the feet, we're going to lift the right heel, bending that right knee, almost as though you're walking on the spot, transition to the opposite side. So we're just transferring the weight. Again, you can use your arms. You look like the Running Man in slow motion. If I just pause the recording right now, it would look quite comical. Bring that back to centre. So I've now got the sole of my left foot fully grounded once more. I've lifted that heel of the right foot. Simply going to lift the knee up in line with the hip. Then set that foot to flexion, underside of the foot parallel to the floor. Then to encourage the balance, we're just going to draw circles with the toe, kind of distract you from standing still. Then take those circles the opposite way. Beautiful. When you're ready, replace that foot to the floor. Breathe, because you probably held your breath there. Engage the core. Inhale, lift the opposite knee. So keeping that left foot in flexion. And then drawing little circles with the toe. Just a reminder that you can use a wall. I'd rather the technique was good than you were stood in the middle of your room wobbling about. And come back again to centre. Good. Perfect. So let's get back into mountain. We've had a little bit of practice on balancing on one leg then the other. Remember, you've always got the trick of bending the knees if ever you feel that you're pitching forward. So remember that that's there to use if you need it. We're now going to wrap the right foot over the left. This is position 1. So nonchalantly, just resting on that toe. Then we're going to slide that foot up. And then we're going to try and close the gap between the thighs, perhaps bringing, it's hard to speak and do, perhaps bringing that right foot behind the left calf. So a little bit of bend in the knee is helpful here. And then there's kind of a progression where, I don't think you can see my toe, but you can peep your toe all the way around and it almost hooks to the inside of the calf. And before we rush too far ahead, just notice that the hips and the shoulders should remain square. The minute you take that knee off, what tends to happen is the whole body twists. So let's keep it nice and square. And then I'm not really fussed which arm goes where. But let's bring the arms into the posture without falling over, in which case I have to stop speaking. Good. Try not to hold the breath. So sink a little deeper into the posture and really focus on the breath. Then when you're ready, I don't want to take you out because some of you are really good in it. Inhale, lift, come back to centre, unhook. Beautiful. So we'll do the same walking through on the opposite side. So usually you've got one side that's stronger than the other. So first of all, work out mobility. Where is that leg going to go? If you're bringing the foot to the side of the calf, the next action is to close the gap between the thighs, then tuck that foot around behind the calf. Then when you feel secure, bring the arms in. I just can't do that tonight. Beautiful. Breathing is good.
engage the core. Inhale, lift, lift, lift. Come back to center. So I'll just mention to you, for those of you who don't drink water throughout the day, oftentimes when we come to do balancing yoga in an evening, it really shows up when you haven't had enough to drink. So if balance was not your friend there, you might want to have a think about how dehydrated you might be, because that certainly can create that lack of balance, particularly when we get into the evening. Super. So come back into your mountain pose. I'm going to come side on and take your stance towards the front of your mat. Bring the hands again onto the hips. As you exhale, step the right foot back. Take a moment to realign so that the insides of the feet are parallel to the edge of the mat, i.e. that back toe is not rolling out. And I'm just going to go a little bit deeper into this hamstring. So gently draw the sit bones back so that you start to lengthen that front leg. We can keep that front knee soft but not bent. Hands to the hips once more. Then as you exhale, hinge, hinge, hinge. So chances are if we go quickly, we'll dip one shoulder quicker than the other. So work with the breath, and with every exhalation, just extend into that easy release a little deeper. At this point, it's tempting to bend the knee. So remind yourself to gently iron out that bend in the knee. You might want to take the hands off the hips, bringing the belly towards the thigh, bringing the fingertips towards the floor. Rather than being in a rush to get the head any further, let's lengthen through the spine. So lift the sternum forward. Again, iron out the bend in the knee. Then start to breathe the forehead towards the shin. I know I won't be demonstrating this beautifully because tight hamstrings and rounded back do not work well in this posture. When you're ready, take a little bit of a bend into the front knee just so that it's not overextended. Bring the hands onto the thighs, keep looking down at the floor. Inhale, hinge, step up, come back to center. We'll simply switch the feet over. So right leg comes forward, left leg comes back. Enough space between the hips, so widen if required. Set up the insides of the feet parallel. Straighten the front leg, hips square. As you exhale, little hinge. Push the sit bones back. Inhale, widen through the chest. Exhale, hinge. Perhaps at a 90-degree angle now. That little reminder about ironing out the bend in the knee. You might want to bring the hands towards the floor just to give you a little bit of security. Straighten that leg again, bring the belly to the thigh. Inhale, extend and lengthen the sternum forward. Exhale, start to nod the forehead towards the shin. Keep drawing the shoulder blades together. Then again to come out, a little bit more of an exaggerated bend in the knee. Gaze before the toes. Bring the hands back onto the hips. Push into the soles of the feet. Unhinge to lift. Come back to center and walk the feet together. Beautiful. One last standing pose, and then I promise I'll take you down onto the floor. So a little bit of balance required again. So if that wall is helpful to you, don't stray too far away from it. We're going to take hold of the right ankle in the right hand. And when you're in this posture, we're bringing the knees together. And if I turn side on, I can show you better. What we don't want to see is the knee popping forward. We equally don't want to see the knee coming out to the side so that the hips are not level. So ideally the thighs remain quite tight, the knees together. To try and keep that nice length through the upper body, tilt the hips forward, lift the rib cage off the belly.
And your choice whether you do something fancy with the opposite arm. So if it's holding the wall, that's enough. But if you're holding the wall, don't make it too easy for yourself. Don't lean into that space. Lift and tilt the hips forward. Beautiful. Now, depending on where you've chosen to do this posture, if you're happy where you are and you have the space to do so, come into a 90-degree angle. Ideally, we want the thigh to be parallel to the floor. We want the standing leg to be straight. Then extend that opposite arm forward, coming into the dancer pose. And there's no issue with using a wall, top of a sofa, fireplace, just for a little bit of stability, even if it's just fingertips touching. It will help you to keep the hips and the shoulders square. Beautiful. Coming out of it is always the challenge, because you kind of fall out of it. We'll try and remain really controlled as we engage, lift, then replace the foot to the floor. Let's swap over, do the same on the other side. So start with the thigh stretch. So opposite hand to opposite ankle. There's a moment where you want to really set the posture correctly. So knees together, thighs almost touching. Don't let those knees drift apart. Don't let that knee drift forward. And then once you've got the thighs on the same plane, gently tilt the hips forward. That lifts the rib cage up. And then when you feel that you're in the zone, you've got a little bit of balance going, then you can hinge forward and come into your full dancer pose. If you're holding the wall, that's a little bit harder. And remember, if you're using support, don't let that twist you out of shape. Think about the back thigh being parallel to the floor, the hips being square, the shoulders being square. There is a lot to think about. And then whenever you feel like it, you can also breathe. You don't have to hold your breath. I can tell when you're going red in the face that that's what you're doing. Engage the core and to make sure you don't damage the lower back. Then inhale, lift, come back to center. Oh, beautiful. Let's take those feet a little bit wider. Let's take them, just a little bit wider. Turn the toes out for a little bit of comfort. Bend the knees a little bit, roll the knees over the second toe. So we're just not overdoing anything. We're keeping it all nice and soft. Hands on the hips, exhale, hinge forward. So 90 degrees to begin with. Then again, wrap the hands over the elbows, bring the forearms parallel to the floor. We're just hanging. I'm just giving your lower back a little bit of a rest. There's a little bit of a back bend occurs when we do the dancer pose. So I just want to find a little bit of release there. And again, rather than twisting this time, we're going to shift the body weight over towards one foot, bending that knee. Then shift the body weight over to the other foot, bending that knee. So as you transition the weight from one side to the other, you feel a stretch to the straight leg, a little bit of strengthening happening in the bent leg. One more transition from one side to the other, then return again to center. Replace the hands on the hips, keep looking down at the floor. Push down into the soles of the feet, inhale to lift up. Keep looking down at the floor. And when you're ready, lift the head, look forward, and step the feet together. Now you may come down on the floor. All this time we've been stood up. So when you lie on the floor, let's start as if we're doing Shavasana, which we're not, but let's start as if we're doing Shavasana. So let's lengthen the legs, feel that commitment through the shoulders, through the length of the spine. Because we've done all that lovely stretching, let's notice how that feels through the back of the body. So because I'm quite rounded in the shoulders, excuse me, I've still got a little bit of curve happening in the upper back. So let's take the arms wide, making a T shape, palms turned up towards the ceiling, squeezing the shoulder blades together, then resting through the weight of the upper body. So it kind of feels as though you're rolling outward from the spine at the center. Inhale to point those toes. Exhale to flex. Inhale to point the toes. When you come to flexion, squeeze the buttocks together. Feel as though you're lifting your bottom almost off the floor with the strength of your buttocks. Release the buttocks, point the toes, relax the ankles, let the inner thighs release. Now bend the knees up. So the soles of the feet are resting hip width distance apart with a gap between the thighs, between the knees. On the out breath, gently roll both knees over to the right side. But for now, we're going to keep the back of the hips square. So let's not lift the left buttock from the mat, which means the knees won't go all the way over to the side. We're just toying about with that little tiny stretch we're feeling in the front of the left hip flexor. Inhale, widen through the chest, fingertip to fingertip. Exhale, draw the tummy button in, roll the knees through center. Guide the knees towards the left side. And again, we're not rolling all the way over. So we're keeping the back of the hips square. Perhaps getting a little action through that right hip flexor. Wide through the chest, inhaling fingertip to fingertip, exhaling, drawing the tummy button in, rolling the knees back again to center. Take the feet a little bit wider, so we're almost at the edge of the mat. In fact, I'm off the edge of my mat because I have a very wide stance. Then on the out breath, take both knees to the right. You'll find it easier to keep the back of the hips square because we've created a little more space into the inner thighs here. You might be more likely to feel this stretch at the outside edge of the buttock, almost coming into the lower back on the left side. Engage the core, control the weight of the knees through center, take them to the opposite side. Again, there's no rolling, we're keeping the hips square. We're just finding that extra space around the hips. Inhale from fingertip to fingertip, exhale, draw the knees back again to center. Now lift the feet off the mat, position the knees directly above the hips. So instead of being wide in the legs now, we're having knees over hips, heels in line with knees, toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Still get this gorgeously relaxed T shape happening through the arms. So the back of the hands are heavy. We're equally weighted through the flats of the shoulder blades. You might notice because you've lifted the knees that there's a little lift in the lower back. So let's again bring our awareness to the breath, exhaling to draw the tummy button in, closing that little gap in the lower back. Then on the out breath, we're going to roll both knees to the right. This time, back of the hips will lift from the floor. There'll be more of a twist from the waist. And to stop that left shoulder from popping up, turn and look over the length of the left arm. It might be within your range of movement to be able to bring those knees to the floor, resting the right thigh, feeling the left thigh rest on top. Through the breath, visualize widening through the chest, opening into the left side of the rib cage, exhaling to squeeze that left shoulder to the floor. Inhale again to widen into this space. This time on the exhale, mindfully draw the tummy button in. Lift the weight of the knees through center. Keep control of that. There's quite a lot going on in the lower back here, so don't let it go. Then roll the knees all the way to the other side. I need an extra breath here to help me squeeze the right shoulder to the floor. Then turn the gaze over the right arm. Ideally, the wrists want to be in line with the shoulder. If they're too high up, it feels a little uncomfortable into the shoulder joint. Breathe into that right side of the rib cage. Encourage that twist and release through the middle back. Soften the side of the hip. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in. As you inhale, roll the knees again through center. Now bring the hands to rest on top of the knees. Taking hold of the knees, you're drawing circles with the knees just to open into the hips. Change direction, take those circles the opposite way. As you return to center, hug both knees in towards the chest. We're just going to hold this posture for a moment as we roll the middle back into the floor. Widen the muscles holding onto the spine here. Press that middle back towards the mat. Then as you release, let the right foot rest on the floor, knee is bent. Pop the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Roll the right knee in so that it lines up with the nose, so we just don't want that knee splaying open. Once more, take your arms back out to the T shape so you're not tempted to use your hands. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in. As you inhale, lift the right foot from the floor. Using that bent knee, squeeze the knee in towards the belly. Deepening the stretch to the left side of the hip into the buttock. Exhaling to squeeze a little deeper. Now on the next out breath, gently release that right foot to the floor. Nothing fancy here, no twist. We're simply going to bring that left knee over the midline of the body, sink it down towards the right side of the floor, turning your gaze again along the left arm, and just enjoying that extra opening at the left side of the middle back, into the left buttock and hip, allowing that left knee to become heavy. Try not to be holding tension anywhere. Soften the jaw, soften the shoulders. Think heavy thoughts, everything release. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in. As you inhale, draw that knee back towards center. Beautiful. Unhook that left foot. Lift the right leg up and over, so the ankle just above the left knee. Realigning the right knee in towards the chest. Lifting that left foot from the floor, using the out breath to squeeze in. The in breath to reset your space through the back of the body. Exhaling to squeeze the knee a little closer. Just enjoying that deeper stretch. On the next exhalation, floating the left foot back to the floor. Inhaling to widen and soften. Exhaling to bring that right knee to the left side. And it might take you 2 or 3 breaths to get through that full twist. Just turning the head over the right arm again, just to help with that weighted release through the shoulder. Lovely belly twist. Visualize inhaling from fingertip to fingertip. Exhaling to draw the tummy button in, keeping that core engagement to roll the knee back again towards center. Bring the head back to center. Unhook the right knee. Reset both feet, hip width distance apart. There's a gap between the thighs, between the knees, inside of the feet are parallel. Reset the hands either side of the hips, keep the palms facing up towards the ceiling, and just draw the shoulder blades a little closer together. Push into the soles of the feet, lift your bottom from the mat. A nice, easy, comfortable, supported bridge pose. Equally weighted through the heels, through the fronts of the feet.
We shouldn't feel too much rolling to the outside edge of the feet. Inhale to press the shins forward, creates a little more space through the front of the thighs. By thinking about lifting the hips a little higher, lifting the belly, deepening the stretch into the hip flexors. On the next inhalation, lift the arms overhead. It might take you 2 or 3 breaths to come through that full range of movement. Softening the backs of the hands, the forearms, the upper arms towards the floor. So we remain lifted through the front of the body, weighted through the arms and the shoulders. Then as you exhale, start at the space between the shoulder blades and gently start to roll down through the spine, vertebra by vertebra. When you get to the point where you're just touching down over the bra strap, lift the arms up and over. Let the lower back come to the floor. Reset the palms either side of the hips, turning the palms down towards the floor now. Draw the soles of the feet together. Let the knees roll open. Coming into a supine Baddha Konasana. Nice and quiet through the shoulders. Every exhalation, allowing the knees to become a little heavier, creating space in the inner thighs. Adjusting the hand position now. So bringing the hands as an interlock behind the back of the head. So you're resting the back of the head into the palms as though it's a basket. Widen the elbows, soften the shoulder blades, soften the collarbones. Just check in if you're clenched at all in the jaw. Leading with the right elbow now, imagine that you can draw a line from the right elbow down towards the right knee. Keep the left elbow just sliding over the floor. So you're widening through the left side of the rib cage into the waist. If it helps, turn and tuck the chin into the left armpit. Then return the head to center, engage the core. Inhale, lift back to the middle. As you exhale, we're sliding the opposite elbow towards the opposite knee, turning, tucking the chin into the right armpit now. Important that we keep those elbows wide. We really want to exaggerate that opening through the side of the pectoral muscles. Exhale, engage the core. Inhale, lift once more through center. Take the hands away from the back of the head. Reset the hands either side of the hips. Exhale, draw the tummy button in. Draw the knees back towards center. Let's have a moment to quiet the lower back as we hug the knees in towards the chest. You may wish to take a gentle rock from one side to the other, like a massaging action over the back of the sacrum. Then when you're ready, come back to center, reset your feet to the floor. So I'm going to ease you now into your Shavasana. Your choice if you would prefer to extend the legs, or if you're quite happy with the knees bent, or with a bolster under your knees. You might at this point wish to pull on some socks, a blanket. You may wish to dim the lights. You may need your pet lion to come and cuddle you in Shavasana, because I know it's his favourite bit. Every time he just comes sneaking in and he goes, oh, it's the snuggly bit. I like that. He's beautiful. Bless him. So as we ease ourselves into this Shavasana, just take a moment to consider where you may be inadvertently holding tension. You may have a habit of clenching the jaw. You might notice that you're frowning. Allow the muscles of the face to soften and release. creating space between the eyebrows, softening the cheeks, relaxing the chin, resting the tongue in the well of the mouth. Feel the weight through the back of your head sink a little more deeply into the floor. Know that you're in a safe, protected space here. And give yourself permission to let go of judgment, to let go of expectation, to let go of doing the right thing. Just allow your body to adopt the shape, the space that it needs. Feeling the weight of your bones sink a little more deeply into the earth beneath you. And allow yourself to be held here. Think of every out-breath as a sinking deeper, a releasing further. Every in-breath, an invitation to recharge your body, to send positive energy to the parts of the body that need it most. Visualizing the breath from the tip of the nose along the nasal passages. Feeling the temperature of the breath. The cool air on the breath in. The warm air on the breath out. Become aware of the journey of the breath. Notice a widening and expansion with every inhalation. A softening and releasing with every exhalation. And know that you can send the breath to any part of the body that may need a little extra healing. Send the breath to any part of the body where you know pain or limitation, even tension or anxiety manifest for you. Let go of that stiff shoulder. Breathe through that one hip a little higher than the other. Send the breath to the elbows, to the wrists. Feel those aching muscles release with every out-breath. Send a nourishing breath in and around the knees. Exhaling to release any tension here. Taking care to send the breath through the full length of your body, in and around the ankles, all the way down to the soles of the feet. In this moment, permit your whole body to breathe. Recharging with positive energy. releasing any negative energy. Allow your breath to become a little noisier, breathing in through the nose. And with that audible exhale, feel tension leave your body. Inhale, fill the body with positive energy. Exhale, noisily release anything that doesn't serve you. One further full breath rotation to fill your body. Exhaling with an audible sigh, let it go. Now allow your breath to make its way back to a natural, easy rhythm. Tune in again to the weight of your body against the floor, your space in this room. And start to return sensation here. Wiggling fingers and toes. Wriggling the jaw and the nose. Taking a long stretch if that pleases you, or hugging the knees to the chest if you prefer. You can do both if you want, there's no rules. Now in your own time, roll to one side, pausing there to blink, the eyes open. Then return again to a comfortable, seated position. Bring your hands to an Anjali Mudra. Touch to the head for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind intentions. The light in me honours the light in you. Namaste. Just stop the recording.